Hi everyone, it's Nancy. I'm back with a very cute little journal. After making the two last Christmas ones, I wanted to do something quicker and fun and something that we all can do. You know, it's getting closer to Christmas now, so I had this digital collection. I'm going to tell you all about the gal in her shop, and I said, this would be perfect for this little bag. It's a bag journal. We're making this, and we've made, it's just a regular lunch bag. It's not the jumbo or the extra large ones. Where's my ruler here? This is just the normal, it's like 5 inches by, I don't have the bag in front of me, the word, 5 by 10 and a half. 5 wide by 10 and a half tall, and it's got that bottom, the flat bottom part on it, because I know they have different sizes out there. Of course, you can do this with any type of bag you have, and most people know this, but I'm going to just show you how cute this looks with this digital. This is a digital. I did not stitch this. I didn't, but let me tell you first. This gal, I know through a group the group that I'm in on Facebook, and her name is Sylvia, and she has an Etsy shop, and it's capital S, capital A, capital S, LOW, capital ART. It's SA Slow Art, and I'll put the information below. And she does these beautiful stitcheries herself. She stitches everything, and she takes digital prints and makes collections, and so you could buy the digital copy of her stitching. And I have a couple, I think I have 2, maybe 3 different types of her digitals, and they are so much fun to work with, and her work is beautiful, and it looks like, I mean, it's a real copy, it's a digital picture of her stitching, so it looks beautiful. I love this. And let me just show you, I have a few pieces printed out here, some of my scraps here. Look at the red, the beautiful trims, the tassel, more stitching here. Look at these here. So I use this one kit, and right now she has her kits on sale, 40% off. I believe this is called the Christmas Digital Paper Pack. It is on sale now for $1.98, I believe. So I think all her kits might be on sale. I'm not sure, but I know this one is on sale for $1.98. And she's a wonderful person, and all her kits are gorgeous. She has a denim one in there that I love. She has fall ones. You've got to take a look at her shop. She's a sweet person. So I wanted to use this to make this cute bag journal. I'm going to show you step by step. It's so easy. You want to make some for your friends, to give as gifts. It's just, they whip up fast, and they're just so pretty. They're sweet, So I'll also look through your stash of trims. So I did, after I sewed the signature in, and I am going to sew a signature in on the video, believe it or not. It's like, how can I mess it up? But I probably will. But anyway, I went through my stash of trims that just a few I grabbed right away, and I had this one, and that's the one I used to glue on after I sewed the signature in. I put that on there with my fabric tack, and it adds to it, So look for some trims in your buckets, whatever you have. And this, again, I'm still using this beautiful hand-dyed silk from Honey Silk and Company, which I can link that below as well. And this green is just so pretty tied on here with the green tree. And then for little journals like this, I'd like to tie them top. Of course, you could do it this way or put a closure. You could do whatever you want. And you could make this any size you want, okay? But I'm just going to show you, and I'll give you measurements the best I can for this size, because this is just a normal lunch bag. So I'm going to take this off, and let me show you. So there it is right there. And now the bag, the open part is on the front here. So I did make a little journal card to go in there. I had old book page, so I just used that. I have the raw edge on it here. I left the raw edge on there. And I just put some glue on here, and I stitched all the way around this. I actually, and this is another trick. Now, if you don't sew, just glue well, okay? Because not everybody sews. I sewed with my sewing machine. And if you don't have a sewing machine, but you can stitch by hand, you can do hand stitching with some DMC floss, embroidery floss. That would add more, because that's what Sylvia did a lot. She put some primitive stitching, and you could do the same. So there's a whole bunch of options. So inside here is the bag, the opening here. So I made just a journal card, and I like the raw edge of the book page sticking out. If you don't have that, you can make a tab, whatever you want. Okay, so I just wanted to do that here, and I like the way it sticks out here. Okay, so we're going to go inside, covered the inside here, and then the back, covered the back. This is the flap here, the bottom of the bag. And then I just made a little, I took one of the printables, I just cut it, folded it in half, and cut it down to fit inside here, okay? Now, you know, if you ever done anything with these bags, they're not made perfect. And you're going to buy a package, or if you have some already, you'll go through them, and you'll see some of the bottoms, like, I don't know who glued those bottoms together. Obviously, it's a machine that does that. Some of them look really bad. So if you have a bunch of bags, look through them and pick the best ones out that you see. So what I did, I only used her digital, but I did look for some scrapbook paper. I think most of us have extra paper, and if you don't, you have digitals. So I included some scrapbook paper in here too. And I put 10 pages, which gives you 40 sides. So that should be enough to use as for photos, December daily, just a gratitude journal, an Advent journal, whatever. But this would be so nice to give to somebody. So this is some Stampin' Up! Paper. And I always tell you I have a lot of Stampin' Up! Products, because I was selling for Stampin' Up! I still kind of am, but I'm going to be stopping soon. But this kit here, the papers I'm going to show you are called Peaceful Prints. But once again, I've had them for a while. But I thought they went well with the tone of the papers, the colors. And this one has reindeers on it, and then a pretty plaid. And then I left the printables that I used of Sylvia's, I left the white pages, because I think we need white, because depending on what you're going to add to it. So I'm okay with that. But if you want coffee dyed paper or print on the back, so you have something on the back too, do that as well. But I just cut up a bunch of papers. I printed, I'll get to that in a second. So I know I'm trying to jump the gun here. Here's part of the scrapbook paper here, the red with the snowflakes. And that's the back of that. More of Sylvia's printable. And here. Now, this is the other thing I want to tell you. I sewed scraps together to make bigger pages. And if you don't, you could use your slow stitch and stitch with the DMC to sew scraps together. I just ran this through my machine, and I think it just adds along with her stitching. It's part of it, and I love doing that. And I'll show you in another paper how I sewed the scraps together. So from making one journal and printing pretty much one of every page, sometimes two on a page, that's what I want to tell you. Some of the pages I printed whole, but I didn't print full size paper. I picked my 8 by 10 size to get it a little smaller to fit. And it depends on the size bag. If you're using jumbo bags, you want to print the full page, okay? But for these some of these pages, to get more of the design, more to size, I printed 2 to a page, 5 by 7, 2 on one page, and then some of the pages I just printed 8 by 10. So I didn't print the full size for this type of bag, okay? That's what I meant to tell you. But I had no problem running a line of glue and stitching these pages together, and it just adds to the journal, I think. So here's more of my scrapbook paper here. Here's the middle. You can leave your, your ties longer if you want to put charms on it. I just, I didn't want to. So this is the journal. And I think it's perfect. And then like I folded another piece over. I didn't cut it off and just glued it so we can make a tuck spot here. Real simple. Like and here's another one. And then on this one here, I folded it twice to show this little part here, and I just stitched it with my machine. It's not a tuck or anything. It's just a design on this side of the page. And then we have the pocket. It's really quick and easy. I can't wait to make some little pockets and things for this. And I've got a couple of pieces of ephemera that I'll be making a video for to show you coming up as well. But let's just get to this journal here, okay? So first you're going to take your bag. And I told you this was like 5 by, I think it was 10 and a half, right? Now on this bag, this is it's not a very good bag, but after I tell you to pick your bags, I didn't pick a very good one, but that's okay, because when we put the papers on, it works out fine. So you see how this bag has that divot in there and this raw edge here? We're gonna cut that off. So I'm gonna get my little trimmer here, and I'm gonna cut like a good 1/2 inch or so right below to get all this roughness off, okay? So that would be the first thing to do if your bag has that. And I just brought out my little cutter here so I wouldn't be banging and fooling around. Let's hope this works. Ooh, there we go. So I just cut that off, throw it away, okay? So now you have a nice clean edge here, okay? So now we did that. I'm turning it where the open edge is here on my left, and this is the bottom here, the little flap here, okay? Now what I want you to do is take it and knead it up over here. Once you have it met up, give it a press, and then use your bone folder, whatever you use, to get a nice sharp crease. And get that in there like that, okay? So this is going to be your cover. This is going to be your pocket. And then here's a tuck. And then we have our crease, okay? Now this is where you want to use your paper. So like I said, I would suggest looking through the digital. I'm trying to remember how many pages are in the digital. I can't remember right now, but there's probably about 9 to 12 pages in this digital kit, and I'll link it below. And then you want coffee dyed paper, you want scrapbook paper, you want book page, the usual journal type things that you want to use, the journal types of papers you want to use. So I just wanted to make it simple so I could use it right away, like use it, and then decorate as I use it. Okay, so go through the digital, see which one you would like on your cover. Now on this one, I thought that tree was like perfect for the cover. So what I wanted to do is print it 2 to a page, pick the 5 by 7 or whatever setting you have, because that would fit on the cover and I get the full image. So I couldn't print this full size to get on this cover. I had to print 2 to a page, okay? So this is what it looks like. You get 2 of them on a page. So I cut it, and it should work on this bag. Now, once again, if you have a bigger bag, you're going to probably want to print it bigger. If you have a smaller bag, you're going to print it smaller. So depending on the size of your bag tells you what size to print, because you want as much as the images you can get. You don't want it cut off. So here's our bag here, okay? So what we're going to do is work on the cover. the front to the back here. Okay, so this is one of the 5x7s, and that's going to work out perfect. Sometimes you have to trim a little off, but let me see if I have to trim any off. The bags are not perfect, so I think I'm gonna have to trim a smidge off of here. I have to get my big cutter. Give me 1 second here. Let me get my big cutter out, and just ever so slightly. Oops, sorry for that noise. That's why I don't like to bring the big one out. Let me just try to trim a sliver off, just like that. And that should work. Okay, I'm trying not to bang this again. All right, so we have our bag. Here's our opening, right? Our opening, our front. I want this to be on the front, and I am going to sew. If you're not going to sew, you want to glue really well. Glue this. You're gonna be gluing this to the cover, but then you want to make sure you glue all around your edges too. But I am going to sew. So I'm going to first design the cover. So this is going to be on the cover. It's going past the crease, but I have this part here. So I want to figure out what other paper I want to use for the back. So I did, let's see, what do I have here? I want to use, I think I want to use, you can use, see, I'm just using my scraps. I can use that. I can put this on the back here even. It doesn't matter, whatever I want to use. And maybe I will use this. And so what I'm going to do is make sure I cut a piece big enough to match the front. And I just need this to overlap about 1/4 inch. We're going to glue that, and it has to overlap about 1/4 inch, which it will. It's wide enough. So since that's the piece I want to use, let me measure this here, and I'm going to cut it. Make sure it's lined up. Get my pencil, like my pencil, and make a mark. And I love jingle bells. I love them. Gotta have bells jingling around. That means you're a little elf working hard, right? All right. Okay. And I think this is my piece right here. So let me just make sure. So that's gonna go there. And then my front here is gonna line up there and make sure it's overlapping 1/4 inch. Perfect. All right, so we have our cover. This is what's gonna be our cover. So what I'm gonna do first, I'm gonna glue this back piece on first. Now, let me get a scrap of paper and use my glue stick and get some glue on this piece here. I don't have to worry about getting it totally to the end because I am sewing close to the edge when I do this, but I will show you. So let me put this on first on the back and just make sure I like to cover up my bag as much best I can. If you want to have like a border to see that it's a bag, then you're going to cut your paper smaller. It's your whatever you want to do. Okay. All right. I mean, you get it as perfect as you can, you know. And I'm just gonna squeegee this on there so it's nice and okay. All right, sticky. And then, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna run a line there after I get glue on my front piece here. This is just a glue stick I had. I don't usually use this glue stick, but it's good. It's working out well, but I usually use my Uhu. But this one I had, and I thought, oh, I'm going to use this up. So just getting some glue on here to make it stick. And now I'm going to worry about lining it up here at the front of the bag because I know it will overlap when we get towards the back. And let me just make sure this gets on here. So I cover my bag. like that. Once I get it where I want it, I'm just going to go over it. Okay. All right, so now that's our front, okay? So now we're going to go to the inside here. Okay, for the inside, I'm going to use, this is 5 by 7, I printed 2. I want to put this on the inside. Now here's our crease here. You don't want to, we're going to stay about a generous 1/8 of an inch away from the crease. We don't need the bulk because we need our space to sew in our signature. So you could even do a 1/4 inch, but I would just say a generous 1/8 of an inch would be fine. So I'm going to kind of just eyeball it here of where I want to put it and get my Jingle Bell pencil here and mark this again of where I want to cut this. So let me cut this off. Okay, look at that pretty scrap. Oops. Okay. All right, so now this is going to go, just hit that with that blade, didn't I? Ever so slight. Okay. So that's going to glue here. So I know that's going to work. So let me get that glued on. I hope everyone's doing well. Thanksgiving is in 3 days. I host it. My kids come over and my grandkids. So total there's about 10 of us. And, you know, make the usual traditional Thanksgiving dinner. And the kids actually like it and eat it. So that's good. I have to make them their honey buttered carrots. They love honey buttered carrots for their vegetables. So I do that. And okay, so we got that on. Let's squeegee that on there. So as you can see, here's our crease. I stayed about, probably it's like a 1/4 inch away from there. A generous 1/8, scant 1/4, okay? Now we want to do the flap and then this piece here, okay? So I have this other 5 by 7 piece. So I want to use this part for my flap because it's very pretty and interesting. So I'm going to measure how much of that I need. Okay. And I'm going to mark it where I need to cut it. See how easy this is? Okay, that's for there. And then this is going to be here. I can turn it around, do whatever I want. That's going to be on the flap. And then I need, now you don't need to go all the way in here to cover all of this. I would just go like a 1/2 inch past the flap here because we're going to stitch and you're not going to see anything in there. So look for another scrap. Like this is really pretty with this tassel and bow. So I might save that for a journal card or pocket. So let me look at my other scrap here I have. This is a nice scrap I could use. So, you know, you could turn it any which way because any way goes. Now it's too much in there. I could use that side or I can do this side. Maybe the red. Okay, so I need to cut off about that much. So let me just make this a little smaller here. Don't need all that. That should work. I save all my scraps because I can just glue them together or sew them together and make more paper. Okay, so that's going to go here, and we're going to stay away from the edge. So that's going to glue there. And then this is going to glue on top here, right? Okay, so I'm going to glue this inside piece first. So I thought, oh, got to get a video done. I wanted to get this little journal done because I thought, you know, if you have time you might want to get some bags and start whipping these out because time is a ticking here. So, all right, so I'm going to line up here first. I'm going to stay a little bit away from my middle. Stick that on there. Plus, I have my granddaughters tomorrow, 2 days before Thanksgiving, because they're off of school now, and Mom and Dad are still working. So they're going to come over and help Nana and hang out with me. It seems like I have a little bit of a hang over here. So let me just give it a trim. No big deal. If I can see without sticking my head in the camera here. So I hope you all are going to have a nice Thanksgiving. Hope you're together with your family and friends. And yeah, we just eat dinner and play games. All right, so, and then I'm going to glue that right there. Okay, so let me get glue on there. We like to play bingo for prizes. So when I went to the store today, I got some scratch cards, lottery scratch cards, and then the dollar ones, and then we play bingo for scratch cards. So, and then they bring games over too. We have regular games. Oh, they've got some crazy games, my daughters. I can't even remember the name of them, but some of them are pretty aggressive. Like there's one that you throw I don't know, it's something with taco in the title. It's like a quick card game, but you have this, I think it's like a taco, like a soft taco, like a thing, and then you throw it at each other. And my one daughter yielded at me last year, and it really hurt. And so that's our joke now. Like we get so aggressive with this game. I don't know, something with a taco. You'd have to look it up. I don't even know. Okay. So, I can see I need to trim a little bit off of here. And that's not a problem either, you know. I'm just going to trim this ever so slight. And you can do that now at this point here. There we go. Okay, so now that we have, this is the cover, this is the back, here, and we have our pocket. And then we have our tuck here, right? Okay, at this point, you're going to sew if you sew. If you sew, here's your opening. You're going to sew starting at the top, go all the way across, come down here, and go all the way across here. Do not sew your opening close. Leave that open. So, and I stitch. If you can see on mine, if you can see it, I stitch as close to the edge as I possibly can. Okay. You could do a running stitch by hand, but I would suggest using a longer, like a thicker needle that can get through all these papers. That might be a little tough, but you could do it. And then again, if you're not sewing at all, just make sure all your edges are glued down. And let it dry for a little while, okay? So once we get that sewn, and I do have one to that point, I wanted to, because I'm not going to sew on camera. So once you get it there, it's either glued really well or you sew all around it, okay? Now, here it is. I have one. I already sewed. I glued it. It's the same, pretty much, almost the same that I just showed you, okay? Now it's sewn. So we have our tuck here, and we still have our pocket. Now you want to, pick your pages. So for this bag, I cut my pages at 4 3/4, and I cut my pages by like 9 1/2 to fit here. If you leave it the full 11, that's where you can flip that little piece in and make it a tuck, okay? But for regular pages, I measured for me on this bag 4 3/4 by like 9 1/2. Okay, that's what I did. But you can measure your bag and do your own personal measurement, okay? So then I'm going to show you my pieces that I picked for the signature. So I have some folded. These are 4 3/4 by 9.5. Here I already have my scrap pieces ready. I have 4 of those because I liked how they look in there. I have this one here. I sewed together these 2 pieces. So that's a sewn page there. This page here, I sewed a bunch of these pieces together. See? And that's a page there. I made another page. Now, I don't mind this in here because these are pages you can put pockets on or trim some, you can put a like a tuck here if you want and have that journaling. I mean, we could do whatever we want. So I did not mind doing this at all. If you don't like the look, then just cut full sheets of paper, okay? But I think this is fun. And with Sylvia stitching, I mean, it all goes together. It doesn't matter which way you sew it on or glue it together. It's all patchwork, and I love how that works out. So you don't waste anything. You're using it. Okay, so here's some full-size sheets that I printed. I'm just going to fold them. I'm just folding them in half for now because I want some white pages, some reverse. So I'm just folding them for now. I might have to reverse fold them if I want the white because obviously that's how it's going to be. So I'm just going to kind of follow what I did in here just to make it easy. So for my first page, I have the reindeers. Okay, and then the second page is, see, a white one folded. Okay, doesn't matter which one I do. I'm just going to take one of these and fold it the other way. Make sure it's even. All right, so we have a white page there. Okay, and then a red page. So I'll do this one here. And I already pre-cut these, so I won't have any tucks, but there's no reason you can't just take one of these. And if you want to do it before you sew it in, you can actually put that there, tack it down, and stitch around it if you want. So, but I'm just going to kind of show you now what we're doing. So then we have that. So then I'm going to do my red page, my red snowflake page. So we'll put that one here. Isn't that pretty? And then the next one, I'll just do maybe this one here. And then I have another one. Let's see. How about if I do my sewing one? Sewn in one, okay. And then another one. Let's see, I'll do this one here. Fold this one in half. Okay, there's that one. And you might have to trim a couple on the edge, but that's okay. We'll figure that out. My tree, my reindeer. And there's the middle. I have another page here. Well, we can stick. How many pages did I put? I think I put 10. Maybe I did 9. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, 10. So that gives you 40 sides. I think that's good. So let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, we'll do one more. I'm going to leave that as the middle. So I think I'll put that one. I could do that one this way, maybe. Could do that this way. No, we'll do it the other way. So I'll just fold it the other way. And yeah, we'll do it this way. Okay, there we go. Because I love that plaid in the middle like that. Okay, so now I have 10 sheets. Of course, you can do what you want. Now, when you put these together, you know, you can see how these are sticking out here. If it bothers you, trim them. If it doesn't bother you, don't worry about it because we made them where they're going to fit. See, they're never going to extend past there. I mean, you could trim a smidge from the middle if you want, but, and I think I can do that from, let's just trim a smidge from this one here. But we left enough room, so when the book closes and then by the time you add stuff to it, it's not going to matter. So let me just see if that's better. I mean, they're all a little sticking out, but I have no problem with it. So then we're going to sew it in here like this. See, nothing sticks out. Nothing. So I think it's going to work out just fine. It doesn't bother me that they're not all even. If it bothers you, then you're going to have to trim them so it doesn't bother you anymore. So, okay, once you have them, and if you sewed on, you know, if you left them longer and flipped like I did on mine, where I left them longer and then just kind of flipped that over and glued it to make tucks, you can always glue on papers and make tucks. Or if you want to do it ahead of time and stitch before you sew the signature, it's your option, whatever you want to do. All right, so let's get to the fun part. Okay, so I will show you how I did this. So let me get some clips here. Get some of my clips. And it really is easy to do this. So I'm going to make sure this is all even. Make sure I have it the correct way. I'm going to put it in the crease. Line it up once I get it where I want it. And put my clips here. And I'm going to do the other side. Make sure it's all good. Okay, so far so good. And I told you I'd never sew a signature on camera again, but I'm going to do it. I know I can, right? I hear you rooting. Go, Nance. Go, Nance. You can do it. I have this thick piece of sponge for this little journal. I mean, I do have a book cradle to make my other, you know, when I sew in other signatures, but for this little one, it's fine. I already have my needle thread. I'm just using, oops, sorry, moving the camera. I have my needle threaded, ready to go. I'm going to do a 3-hole pamphlet stitch. I have my little awl. All right, so I've got my sponge under there. So I'm going to put my little ruler here, and from the top of the cover to the bottom, it's 5 inches. So I'm going to go where 2.5 is, roughly. I'm going to hold my book. I'm going to hold it straight up, and I'm pressing straight down and just making my hole big enough for my needle. And then I am going to go down about 3/4 of an inch from each edge. Okay, super easy. About 3/4 of an inch. Doesn't have to be perfect. So there, I have my 3 holes. See how easy that was? I have my needle threaded, and get rid of my sponge here. And this, I'm going to do this. So I'm going to go down the middle. Leave some for tying. Like I said, if you want it longer for charms, then cut it longer and leave it longer. So I went through the middle. I'm going to come back up here. My hands are sticky from that glue stick. That's a really sticky glue. Okay, pull it through there. I'm going to go back through the middle, and I don't want to split my thread. So I'm going to go back this way. Hope that I don't split my thread. Sorry if you can't see. I'm trying my best here. Okay, so far so good. I'm going to go through this one here. See, it's a little enough journal that it's going to be a lot easier than a big journal. Big journals just take longer. Okay, and so I'm going to just give it a little pull. Okay, and now I can take my clips off. Let me get those off. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just slide my needle under there. I'm going to take off my needle. I'm going to put it in my little piece here, fabric, to hold my needle. And I'm going to just make sure this is taut, which it is. And I'm going to make a square knot. And I'm going to not put charms on this little guy. So I think it's sweet just the way it is. I'm going to leave the tails kind of short. And that's it. We have it in. So now you can just kind of give it a good press here. And that's how quick this is to make. That's it. The longer part is printing out your printing the kit out, which, like I said, is 9, 10, 11, 12 pages. I don't know, but so figure out what size what size bag, because like I said, you might want to do 2 to a page 5 by 7. If you have a bigger bag, you might want to just do 8 by 10. And I'm doing that because I want as much of the stitching proportioned as possible, because when you print a normal size page, it's just so big, and you might lose some of the pretty stitching. So the smaller you print your page, it's more condensed and more to the size of the book you need, okay? So just make sure here, because we didn't sew here, but if you want to whip stitch around the edge here with a red, that'd be super cute. So we're going to have our pocket here, and that's for our journal card. And then we have a tuck here for another whatever. Oh, I'm so sorry. Excuse me. I felt that coming on, didn't I? So, yeah, I made, like I said, I just sewed a bunch of the scraps together and made this journal card here. I sewed down here 2 scraps together, and I just sewed it to the back of a book page I had, and I like the raw edge. I left that out. So just measure the inside and figure out what size you need. It's easy to do that. And then in the back here, you could make another journal card, but I had one of these 5 by 7 pieces again. I just folded it in half because I love that tree, and I trimmed it till it fit in this pocket here, and it's like a little extra journaling card, and it fits right in there. I don't know why I keep thinking it's going to go further. It's not, but it's perfect. So you just cut it to way to where it's going to go in, and you're good. Yeah, we can come up with some decorating and ephemera for this in the next video, but I just wanted you to see. Oh, so then the trim here, that's what it is. So look at your trims, and like I said, I thought this one was perfect for it. I love this. So I'm trying to think of where I even got this trim from. Could have got it at Hobby Lobby, but I'm not sure. Can't tell you for sure. I don't want to lie. So yeah, I just measure it like this, cut a piece. I don't have a lot of this trim left. I have maybe about a foot left. But so what I did was these pieces here, I flipped it over and I put some fabric tack glue there. And I started where I wanted it right there. I'm not going to do it on camera because it takes time to a little bit to dry. But I glued there first and left it for a few minutes. And then once it was glued there, I just flipped this over and put glue here and there, like you want to put glue where the heavier stitching is. And then I glued this to the front, and when that dried, then I just turned it over to the back, put some more glue, and glued it over. So that's how I, added this here. And by adding some real trim, it just all looks so well with her other trims. And so look through your stash of trims and laces and embroidery and see what you can incorporate in here. And like here, like Sylvia did some big stitches here. Get your floss out or your threads out, and if you have a needle, just do some extra stitching on the pages, and that gives it dimension. So I'm going to glue this on here, and then in the next video we can make some cute little pieces of ephemera to go in here. Okay, so I just wanted to show that to you, to let you know how easy that was, and get some bags and go over to Sylvia's shop. I will put everything in the description below for the silks that I'm using in the last few videos, this beautiful silk, and for Sylvia's beautiful stitched digital kits, and check out her sale, okay? And I appreciate y'all watching, and have a blessed Thanksgiving, and I'll see you soon. Bye.